turn this into this? What is this Yankee voodoo? Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching Yankee Stacking. If you are a first-time viewer and haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below, maybe even hitting the bell icon so you can see when my new videos come out. In my video about the stock market being overvalued and ripe for a correction that I just dropped not too long ago, I got a lot of questions. People were emailing me and dropping comments that said, well, okay, Yankee, you don't like the stock market, you think it's overvalued, you think it's going to pop. Where do we put our money? I even had my brother-in-law call me up and say, dude, I watched your video. I think I need to lighten up on the exposure I have in the stock markets. But what do I do? So in this video, I'm going to discuss how I turn my home equity into precious metals, gold and silver. I love this treasure chest with my constitutional silver. So let me start out by saying I am not a financial advisor. I'm just an old Yankee. This is only for entertainment purposes, so please consult a professional for personal financial advice. So guys, when I jumped out of the overpriced market several years ago, I needed a place to jump in to invest. Again, precious metals wasn't a place I wanted to do a lot of investing, or at least in the traditional sense. I needed something that was going to yield me money, be a cash flow, just something that is far more reliable, if you will, to make me money. For me, it was private mortgage lending, because I wanted real tangible assets backing my investments. I didn't want just a bunch of paper. And one area of wealth that I tapped into was something that many of you have, though I know some of you don't, and that's fine, but that is home equity. So this video is primarily for you out there, viewers and subscribers that own a home. If you don't own a home, you might one day soon. So you might want to listen to this video anyways. You see, for most, a home, this is a Lego home, but you get the picture. A home is a person's largest financial asset. And depending on where you're at in your home ownership, equity can be a tremendously useful tool to invest with. Now, let's be really, really clear here. I know a home is a person's castle. There is no way that I would encourage you to gamble willy-nilly with the roof over your head, okay? That's silly. But hear me out, okay? First, what is equity? Equity is the value of a home asset minus any liabilities. So most commonly your mortgage. Now, as your mortgage goes down and or the value of the home goes up, your equity goes up. So let's say your home was worth $200,000 and you owed $140,000 on your mortgage. Your home equity is $60,000. Simple math, right? So how do you make use of that, the home equity, to get some of this? Well, the first step is to tap into your home equity by borrowing against the property. This can be done by taking what's called a home equity line of credit, or HELOC, out on your home, or a traditional mortgage. You would work with a bank. They would assess the value of this home, clearly worth a lot of money. I mean, look at this, huh? And they would grant you a line of credit or give you a lump sum that they would allow you to borrow. So in the case of a HELOC, it acts somewhat like a credit card. You can be qualified for a certain amount of money. In a traditional mortgage, you get a lump sum. Just appears in your bank after you close. on that mortgage. Hold on a second. Are you saying borrow against the value of my house? Dude, I thought you said you were debt-free. I thought you hated credit. Oh, I do. I think credit cards are awful if not handled properly. I hate consumer debt. I always pay off my credit card balances every month in full. But I'm not completely against debt. Debt actually can be used effectively. Now, let me explain this, okay? Many people tap into home equity. They do it a lot. But here's the difference. Most use it to buy things, toys, trips, higher education, upgrades to their house. That's okay, maybe. But most of the time, all the stuff that is borrowed against their equity is spent. It's gone. That's what most people do with it. They spend it. And HELOCs, the credit card option I mentioned, makes it tremendously easy to abuse your equity. It's dangerous. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what Yankee does. I invest it. In my particular case, I make highly secured loans that are backed by real property that are worth much, much more than the amount that I'm lending. So in a large way, it's a lot safer than the stock market. It's called private mortgage lending, or PML, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about how I do a home equity arbitrage. Ooh. So for this discussion, an arbitrage is simply making more money than you borrowed it for. And let me give you some specifics. I paid off my house back in 2015. It was free and clear, no more mortgage. So I had quite a bit of home equity just sitting there in my house, doing nothing, which is fine. You know, I'm very conservative. I don't want to be full of debt. I love being 100% debt free. It was cool. But I also wanted to increase my investment portfolio, specifically with PML. And Mrs. Yankee and I decided to do the following. Number one, we took out a new mortgage on our house for a fixed low rate of 4%. Then we took that money and invested it at 8%. So 8% minus 4% to the bank equals 4% profit. Boom! Arbitrage. See? That's how it works. Now, granted, I invest safely with those funds. Guys, this is money. This is equity. This is a loan against my house. I get that. I don't want to be, buying Bitcoin with it. But wow, that 4% really adds up. And with it being fixed, that fixed rate with the bank, I don't worry if the rates go up. Frankly, they're going down. I've said that many times. I think they're going all the way down to zero. And I'm waiting to refinance my loan with the bank at a much lower rate when the Fed does cut some more. So think about it. If the Fed cuts and I refinance with the bank at, say, 2%, then the arbitrage is 6%. I'll be making 6% then. See, with the PML investments I do, I receive literally thousands of dollars every month in passive income. Now, I take that money that I get from PML and the arbitrage with my home equity, and I spend quite a bit of that on precious metals, silver and gold. This is a great way to preserve your wealth. Again, let me reiterate for those who think Yankee is viewing his home as an ATM machine. I'm not spending my equity. I'm investing it. And I'm not investing it in precious metals. Frankly, they're not a very good traditional investment. I'm leveraging my home to use untapped resources in order to build my wealth. Now, what about taxes? Now, I'm not a tax expert, but let me tell you what I know. Interest payments on traditional mortgages are tax deductible federally. They used to be tax deductible interest payments on HELOCs, those home equity lines of credit. But Mr. Donald J. Trump decided to take that away last year. So I moved from a HELOC to a traditional mortgage, and now I'll be able to deduct those interest payments on my federal taxes. Yeah. Okay, Yankee, I don't know. This sounds like some voodoo you're doing here. I don't get it. What's your exit strategy, huh? Huh, Yankee? You got to have one, huh? Well, I do have one, actually. What happens if the bank calls your loan? Well, I have that covered too with my PML agreements. What happens during a collapse you keep talking about, Yankee? Huh? Well, that has something to do with this stuff. But if you want more details, you need to check out my playlist that I'll include up there and at the end of this video. Let me just leave you with this. Invest wisely. And if you decide to tap into your home equity, you could reap a lot of profits. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope your day is A-OK.